Alright, what's up, nerds? So, Jeremy's playing the deck. I think this was the same configuration as last week.
It was.
Okay.
It was.
So, basically, we're looking at Jund colors, and it's mostly based on Slickshot.
And Ruiner.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, someone asked for the list. Actually, two people, I think, asked for the list.
Okay.
And Garrison and Craig are on game 3 over there, so we figured we'd do this.
Yeah, we got a little bit of time.
Yeah, so I guess we can start with the lands. I don't know how optimized the land base is, but this is how you're running it, so...
Yeah, it's decent. You're going to see red, black, and green. Your opening hand for sure. It's not always going to be like super optimal, but you're going to be able to cast at least 2 or 3 of the spells in your hand.
Yeah, so we've got Mountain and Forest for basics. There's no Swamp, correct?
No swamp.
Okay, and then 1 Blast Zone as a catch-all of removal, I assume.
Yep.
And I guess we could have organized this a little bit better. There's 2 Pain lands. So 1 Sulphurous Springs, 1 Carplusion Forest. I guess I didn't use different artwork, so I didn't even realize these are 2.
Yeah.
So there's 1 Fabled Passage to be able to fetch the 2 basics.
Yep.
There's 2 Zeatora's Proving Grounds for all 3 colors, also count as basics and has cycling if you're flooding. So we got 2 Restless Cottage and 1 Restless Ridgeline for creature lands. Oh, and then a Hive and a Den of the Bugbear for creature lands. I guess I could have tried to put them all in the same spot. And then you got 2 Crag Crown Pathways, 1 Darkboar Pathway, and then 6 of the fast lands.
Yep.
So 2 Black Cleave Cliffs, 2 Copperline Gorges, and 2 Blooming Marshes. What's the count on lands? 5, 6, 10,
Very
15,
small.
22.
Yeah.
All right.
No turn 1 Swift Spear, like you see in a lot of the
Yeah.
quicker ones. You're just trying to make sure you kill a dork. Pretty much always. Mono green is definitely kills this deck pretty quick. It's just too many creatures that you can put up with. A lot of the other decks, like what is it, vampires right now, red black. It puts up a decent fight, but you have to really be drawing your Rekindling Phoenixes to put up with the Vein Rippers and stuff on turn 3. You know, you play that, and if you already have a Stormseeker out, that gives it the +1 to actually compete with the Vein Ripper. Yeah, it's a fun
to
deck.
waste Vein Ripper.
Yeah, it's hard no matter what. But
Yeah.
you can with this deck only because of Slick Shots and the...
Sure. I mean, 1 or 2 of those, and we saw it in one of our games, got in for 14 or whatever in one turn.
Yeah, it's pretty phenomenal when you're going against, you know, a turn 4 Sheldred that's going to eventually start draining you out.
Yeah, so honestly, we're not even into the deck type portion. One of the best things that you can do, I think, is plot the Slick Shot and then leave it there. Because it forces them to keep removal up, because
I agree.
They're just gonna, like, if they drop all of their mana and they don't have removal up, you can get in for so much damage, especially with a lot of your pump spells. And like, I was playing, so my little secret on Arena is I have 2 accounts and I log in both accounts at the same time, and I challenge myself to see how the decks play out. And the best thing that a red deck can do against my mono black deck is leave one of these off to the side,
Right.
and then chip away with other things.
Right.
Because it's just such a threat.
And that's where Crew Captain comes in play really well. When it enters, it has indestructible till the end of turn. So it just, I don't know, it kind of makes you hold your removal, and you're not really sure when to play it.
Right.
It's pretty fun playing those back to back.
Yeah.
And then the Frostbane Troll. The Rekindling Phoenix, you need 2 pieces of removal to play that.
Or an exile effect.
Right. So until you learn that that's in the deck or playing against it, you're just throwing out your removal. You don't even know. So seeing that turn 4 is pretty nice.
Yeah.
This Bane, the only reason why I'm playing the Fonzbane Troll is because I don't have Sheldreds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess I got a reader. I don't even know what it does.
Yeah.
So it's a 4-mana 4/4. When it enters the battlefield, create a monster roll token attached to it. So it's effectively a 5/5 with trample. And sacrifice an aura attached to it to fight target creature you don't control. If it would die, exile instead. Okay.
Yep.
So it only fights as a 4/4, unfortunately.
Yes, that does.
So it doesn't take out Shieldred in that
No,
sense.
but it does defend against her as
Yeah,
a 5/5.
as a 5/5. Yep. And then obviously, like, it doesn't say sorcery speed. So no, it does say it at the end. So I was gonna say if you face a removal spell, but that's not relevant. So anyways, we'll go over the cards here. So obviously there's 4 slick shots, and then obviously the idea here is to pump it. But there's also, you mentioned Picnic Ruiners, which we got a reader. I know you used it last week, and I don't remember what it does. So Adventure Mode is distribute 3 1/1 counters on target creatures, any number of target creatures you control. And then the creature side is when it attacks, while you control a creature with power 4 or greater, it gains double strike. So obviously, pumping it and giving it double strike.
Yeah, it checks itself as well, so that's
Right.
really cool.
And that is at the beginning of combat, when you attack. So, or I guess when you attack, technically not the beginning of combat, when it attacks. So you want to do your pumps before you declare attackers.
Yes.
Which a lot of people, it doesn't really make a difference if you do it in your main phase or your combat phase, but a lot of people like get into the mindset of always do it at like the last possible moment, and that's how you can sometimes screw up your priority.
Yep.
So just do it in your main phase, kind of like crewing vehicles, just do it in your main phase. 'Cause
Do it.
It doesn't make a difference.
Right, and hopefully you're hitting it with the Blossoming Defense
Yeah.
anyway.
Yep.
So
So
know,
yeah,
no
so we've
matter
got
what.
3 blossoming defenses, which are pumping and protection.
Yep.
3 monstrous rage. I assume this should be 4, and you don't have one.
No, I just play the 3.
Okay.
I would rather, I take value in removing a mana dork or just some creature that draws you a card really fast. Or, I prioritize getting rid of that. And
Gotcha.
it pumps the Slick Shot too.
Yeah. So 3 monstrous rage, 3 fatal push, 2 trash the town, which is another reader for me. So green instant spree, +2 mana is 2 1/1 counters on target creature. +1 mana is target creature gains trample until end of turn, and +1 is target creature gains whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw 2 cards. Okay. So a pump spell, kind of expensive to pump, but gains trample and also gains drawing cards.
Right. Well, I mean, again, it depends on who you're playing it on and when you're playing it.
Right.
If you really need to draw some cards, if you're getting controlled out, everything's getting canceled, you're just out of,
You need to refill.
you're just playing it for the 2.
And also worth noting that if you give it to the double strike, you'll hit twice, which
Yeah,
means
you get 4
you
cards.
get to draw twice.
Yes.
So that is probably very relevant.
It
in a
is
lot
very
of matchups.
relevant. It is.
Yep. And then there's 3 audacities, which are basically rancor, right?
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah,
they
+2
don't
+0
return.
trample, and then when it leaves the battlefield, draw a card. So, yeah, just
Ooh,
another way to pump.
That seems like fun.
Is it in Pioneer? I don't even know.
I think it is.
All right, so we got another couple of removal spells, 2 Bitter Triumphs and 2 Infernal Grasps, and I'm assuming it's just kind of catch-all, clear the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is okay against early planeswalkers because they're not really playing them as much, but if they can still sneak a Liliana in on that discard deck, that's still really good against that. It's kind of slow that down. Yeah, just catch all really.
Yeah, there's
and
no
then-
no restrictions on the removal spells, so it's not like you're casting, like Fatal Push has the restriction.
Right.
It's not like Ultimate Price where it's monocolored or anything like that.
Yeah.
So just a good catch-all.
And this is actually a really good catch-all for your removal spells.
Oh,
The story, it really is.
Sure.
It really is.
Yeah.
That's why I play that because, if you sequence this out right, you can be swinging. Gosh, you're swinging double strike Picnic Ruiner every time with this
Yeah.
out there, and then so people will understand that oh gosh, damage is coming. They'll kill that instead of Picnic Ruiner, and then you can. Most of your creatures are coming out 4 power.
And also, like, if you're playing this on 3 and it sticks around, it's getting in.
Yeah.
And on turn 4, whatever you're playing is also getting in. Like, giving the extra creature haste turns it into a hasty boy threat,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
And then we've got 3 crew captains, which, like you said, it's kind of a, I don't know, I guess a fun card.
A weird tempo card.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. So it's a 4/2 with haste for 3, and it has indestructible as long as it entered the battlefield. And what's worth noting is that's not like an ETB trigger.
Right.
It just has it.
It just
so
is.
I can't respond to it or anything like that. So, like you're saying, if you're trying to leverage a Slickshot in exile and plotted,
Yes.
this gives you something pretty significant to do on turn 3. Also the Stormseeker. So like you're getting in for 3 here, you're getting in for 4 here, and this is hard for them to deal with. And then the next turn, sure, they can deal with it, but now you're threatening the Slickshot still.
Yes. And then, oh shit, oh crap, there's a Rekindling Phoenix instead of the Slickshot this time.
Right.
You know, it's just...
And the Stormseeker hasted it up.
There's so many different creature types, but it's... If you're drawing correctly and...
I don't know anything about doing that.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot about that. If you're sequencing correctly, this deck is... It's just a lot to deal with.
Yeah, you're coming from different angles. And then we talked about the 2 trolls. There are 2 Glissa Sunslayers.
Yeah, those are really good against the green-white enchantments. They just start doing work. Impact Tremors. You know, it's just really good against early game enchantments, and no one wants to defend it. No one wants to put a blocker in front of it. It's good against planeswalkers.
No one also wants to attack into it.
Right.
So it can slow a game down to the point where you can get a flyer out that can end the game.
Yep.
And then there are the 3 Rekindling Phoenixes. So it threw me for a loop last week when you played it, because it's like you have to destroy this and then also destroy the egg on your turn or before the upkeep. Or the other option is exiling this from the graveyard.
It's actually very good against Vein Ripper if you can get that up to the 5.
Yeah.
It just Vein Rippers don't come back. That does.
Yeah.
It's just
it's a good block.
It is.
And
you can attack into it too because they want to protect their Sorin, so they're gonna.
Right. Yep. And then we've got some sideboard cards. Again, sideboarding is a lot. We always say it. It's very heavily dependent on what your metagame looks like. Mm-hmm. But do we want to talk about why you chose these cards for our metagame?
Sure.
So one more Trash the Town.
It's just really good against control and discard decks. You know, it gives you a little bit of chance to get a little...
To draw.
Yeah.
2 Play with Fires.
Again, for early game removal against like White Weenie or Boros or anything quick. The mono green deck that's playing the Linoir Elves and the Elvish Mystics. Mm-hmm. You just want to get them off the field. Mono red, right? It hits a lot. That's probably one of the most Fatal Push was the last uncommon like that. That was like that expensive. I feel like since I've been playing again.
Yeah, and Play with Fire is one that they reprinted in multiple sets. So
no, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that's the only one that's like that. I think Shocks.
With the scry effect, you mean?
Yeah, I think. Yeah. The safekeeping again is more protection.
Yeah. Against removal decks.
Yeah. Anything Fatal Push, anything you just board it in.
Yep.
Another Glissa. For enchantments, you just need to get rid of them.
Yep. And we have Chase hasn't been here he's not here this week. I don't remember if he was here last week, but he's been playing that green-white enchantment deck that just goes super wide.
Yeah,
with
very fast.
And it's really tough if you get behind even the littlest. It's really tough to catch up on that. And then there's Bats.
The Bats. I like that card personally. There's like a whole bunch of 2 mana look at the
similar
opponent, effects. I like hitting an Audacity on that because then you're right. It's a 3 mana or it's a 3/1 lifelinker, and if no one has anything in the air, you're getting through a lot. And then when they finally kill it, they get a card back, but you also get a card.
Yeah.
So it's like,
what matchup are you putting that in against?
I like that in against mid-range decks. I guess on a lot of decks, control decks, being able to take one of their early game cancels or, stop that spell card, it's really good against a lot of different decks right now. Especially if we can stick around. It makes, it virtually takes 2 pieces of removal out of their hand, even though they get 1 back.
Mm-hmm. I tried it in mono black and I didn't really care for it. Like, it took a spell And I've never been a fan of giving the card back.
Information's always powerful too.
Sure. I've just never been a fan of giving them the spell back. And the 1/1 wasn't relevant enough in my deck shell, but you're able to pump it, which is more relevant.
Even making it a 2/2 with a token.
Or giving it trash.
Or letting
Draw
it's
cards.
just,
Like,
it's
you have
decent.
ways to make it better in this
I
shell.
have Thought Seizes. I could play those instead. But I also don't like the damage from the Thought Seize.
I have a hot take on Thoughtseize, and that, like, against aggro decks, I just take it out.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, no, you should leave it in because you can take, like,
the Monstrous Rage.
the light up the stage, or
just
and
something
sure
to
there's
stop. Yeah.
there's some corner cases where it might be good, but I think in a lot of cases you're saving 1 point of damage by taking a lightning bolt,
But
and I don't
hold on,
think
Matt.
that's good.
You're talking about like the most played card in Magic.
That's true. No, not in Magic.
Yeah.
In the format,
In the
maybe.
format.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could play those. I have those. I just like the bat. I don't know why. Well,
you do know why. You just explained.
Right.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going. Fade from history. Each player who controls an artifact or enchantment creates a 2/2 bear, then destroy all artifacts and enchantment. Okay, so that's just probably against Chase.
Is it?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Is it artifacts? There's a whole bunch of different generous plunder decks that are trying to be made and built right now. I think that's going to be good against them. It's a little expensive, but if you get up there, you're gonna.
The Insult artifact deck is what he's talking about.
Yeah, that's really good.
No one picked up on that.
I was playing a Terra Sunder, but it just didn't hit enough. Mm-hmm. Plus with the Glissa, you're hitting enchantments with that.
This is for Shelly.
That's for anything big booty.
Yeah.
Any.
It's for Shield. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, obviously, like, the secret's out that the card's good.
Yeah.
But it's just worth noting that, like, when you declare your attackers, you can then, before blockers, you can cast this with a discount.
Right.
If they attack into you, you can cast it with a discount.
Yeah.
So just good to keep that versatility. Brotherhood's End is obviously for
Just
aggro decks.
aggro decks or artifact decks, like another is it kind of early, answer to.
Yeah, I guess the only thing with these against the Ensoul deck
is the indestructible.
So this is better because it'll destroy the enchantments.
Yeah.
This won't destroy, like, the Darksteel Citadel or
The pickaxe.
axe. Yeah. And then, do you want to say the name?
I can't say it ever. Matt can though.
I'm just gonna say Hidetsugu consumes all.
Yeah.
What's
That's
the relevant one drops that or is it just for go wide one drops?
again, like Llanowar Elves.
Yeah.
Those come in pairs. Elvish
Sure,
Mystics
yeah.
come in pairs too. Like they have one, they have two.
Yeah.
It's really good against those. It's good against the 1 mana blue Siren that gives you a map. It's good for map tokens. It's good for any kind of token, really.
Okay. And then Deadly Cover-Ups too. I've actually considered running this in my deck.
It's very good. Being able to, if you make it there, being able to pluck a Phoenix or, gosh, whatever, pluck a Slickshot even.
Yeah.
That would be pretty substantial, for a lot of people. So I like running that card too.
All right.
Yeah, and I normally run the split of these.
Yeah. So the real question is, are there any cards that you want to add to the list that you don't own necessarily?
Sheldred.
Sure.
For sure, Sheldred.
Take those out. Put Sheldred in.
Bloodletter of
Aclazats.
Yes. It's hard to hit the 3 black, but if you can do it, your Picnic Ruiners that's coming in is just going to win the game with a trample. It doesn't matter. It's hitting so much because it's, this is Picnic Ruiner with Audacity on it. That's what,
8 damage.
That's 16 damage because it doubles because of the Bloodletter. So that would be
So
fun.
that would kind of turn into more of a combo.
It would kind of, yeah. And then you could play the Avarice and play the, that part of it too. But I like that card. But not really, no. I think the Crew Captain is more of a sleeper than a lot of people would think. It's just hard to hit because of the colors. Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe these two doing something in like this spot.
But overall, you're pretty happy with
I
it.
am pretty happy with it. It has a decent win rate ratio.
And in its current configuration, there really isn't anything. I mean, these have come down quite a bit in price,
Yeah.
but there's nothing really expensive here.
No, it's really not.
So it would be a good budget deck.
It is.
If you're
Most of
looking
the
to get into
decks I
Pioneer.
do build are
Yeah,
budget
yeah.
decks that try to beat the meta decks, and that's fun to me. That's where I enjoy playing.
Yeah. Now, if it were me, I would probably try to make more room for more pump effects.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also an argument that could be made for cutting black entirely.
Yes, yes.
And going
I've seen quite a
just
few
straight
lists.
Gruul aggro where you
Yeah.
got 4, 4, 4, 4, 4.
Yeah.
Maybe even 4 and 4.
Yeah, I really like Trash the
Yeah.
Town. That's been like
And then it also makes the mana base a lot more consistent.
yes.
But
Because there are good red spells that remove, and that's really my problem. Is I just, I can't do anything against Preachers or Shellys or even Magebane Lizard would probably be tough for me. That
the 4 toughness.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Trample is
yeah.
pretty relevant in this deck, but you don't really see it all the time. It's pretty crazy how that works out.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we'll
Thanks
we'll
for
cut the video there.
requesting
Thanks for
the
watching,
list,
everybody.
guys.
Hopefully you got what you wanted.
Hell yeah.